Officers. Seems like every few weeks a story bubbles up about a police officer being tried in the court of public opinion over a mistake they've made on the job. One that they're sorry for as well. I'm not talking about intentional killings. I'm not talking about George Floyd. Perhaps the most notable cop to make a mistake in recent years is Kim Potter, who mistook her handgun for her taser when she fatally shot 20-year-old Dante Wright during a traffic stop last year. After Potter was sentenced to 14 months in prison for Wright's death, BLM protesters took to the streets and even marched to the house of the judge in the Potter case. Now, it is not apples to apples because no one died here. But even beyond Potter's fairly unique case, officers who make honest-to-goodness mistakes in the field often face a public reckoning for it. Maybe they detain the wrong person while chasing down a suspect, or maybe the officer goes to the wrong house when executing a search warrant, or even says something like "all lives matter" in a viral video. Maybe they yell too loudly in the heat of the moment. Should they also be given room to grow from their missteps, just like Colors is asking for? Is she now saying that the BLM movement will start giving law enforcement the room to make certain mistakes, not all, but certain mistakes, without calling for their jobs or worse? Look, I'm certainly willing to consider Colors' plea for understanding and forgiveness, but only if she's willing to extend that same grace towards others, like police officers who don't have the time to make the decisions that she made. Joining me now is Dana Kennedy, who has been all over this story for the New York Post. Thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
All right, so what do you make of her request for forgiveness here?
I think the optics are pretty bad because a year ago when she resigned, which was due in large part to the New York Post reporting, my colleague Isabel Vincent, she also went on the attack and said it was just the right wing that was leading her to do this. And a year later, she's been found out in a way more egregious way. If you look over these filings, as Isabel and I did this week, it's shocking, Dan, to see how this money was spent.
Why?
Well, just you gave the big picture, you know, with giving her baby daddy almost close to $1 million, and you know, her brother, who was a graffiti artist for 20 years. We see no signs that he was ever really in security. Perhaps he was, but he hasn't answered our phone calls. She also, the foundation also gave to about 48 organizations, and again, they say on the IRS filings that it's meant to help basically black communities and black people. But a lot of these organizations, and I looked at almost all of them, are kind of, you know, very sort of social justice warrior stuff that looks as if they were all kind of maybe Bard College graduates forming them a couple of years ago. Again, I didn't look at every last one, but the majority of them are like that. And about at least 6 of them are for transgender organizations that do involve black people, but was a big focus on giving money to transgenders. And the people she omitted sometimes were like storefront preachers. A guy named Brooks, the Reverend Pastor Brooks in Chicago, who tried twice to get some money. He's been in Chicago in the belly of the beast on O Block, in the worst area of the south side of Chicago, and has never gotten a dime. He's actually on a rooftop now. He's been on a rooftop for 160 days, Dan, trying to raise money for a center across from his church on Chicago's South Side, and Black Lives Matter never, ever even picked up the phone to say, no, you can't have money.
Now, were you able to uncover this all from IRS filings, meaning she's admitting all of this stuff and it was just sitting there in the tax records?
Well, admitting it as far as when you look at, say, these 48 organizations that she gave money to.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I say she, I mean, she was the only board member at the time. You go through them and you see what they are. I'm not saying they're not all legitimate at all, but I mean, when you know some of the people that didn't get the money, then you look at them with a more jaundiced eye.
Well, she's admitting it was a mistake. I mean, right? I mean, it's not like she's saying I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
But what amazes me is that, you know, she had some of the Clinton lawyers in on this, and you'd think that they would have realized when these filings came out that the right-wing media would at least have looked and said, why are you giving your baby daddy almost $1 million?
Well, that's why
and why are you giving your brother almost $1 million to be security? You know, buying all these mansions in LA and Toronto. It looks bad.
Yeah.
They could have easily made it look at least a little bit better, and her optics on this last, to always come out fighting, I mean, a little humility. I mean, forgiveness is great, but a little humility is always nice as well.
Speaking of bad optics, let me play a piece of sound here about how they got some of the money, who some of the donors were, according to her.
You know, contrary to what, you know, has been reported, much of the funding that came in was from individual donors. That was a lot of white guilt money.
I mean, imagine if you were a white person, then I would assume that, I don't know what percentage of the people who donated to BLM were white people. It's got to be a big number. and you donated to BLM, and then your donation is being characterized as white guilt money.
It's totally pejorative. I don't, like I said, she doesn't seem to have any kind of smart strategists or even smart friends around her to sort of give her an idea of what kind of sound bites she's offering out there. I mean, I would, and here's the other kind of big secret, Dan, is, you know, there's the BLM 10. There are these organizations, BLM chapters, that have kind of parted ways and feel really bad. There's a lot of really good people that were part of the movement that didn't expect this to happen. And even people like Hawk Newsom in New York, the BLM guy in New York, he's not talking this week, and I understand why, but it puts them in a terrible position. You don't want to come out against this movement that still most people think was wonderful.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, is are people within the movement now coming out against her, or they're sort of remaining silent?
They've already come out against her, but again, you know, you're not reading about this stuff, Dan, necessarily in a lot of mainstream publications. In fact, the AP, where I used to work, referred to BLM in their big story about the filings as a scrappy organization, which is not an adjective that we would have used.
$90 million is a big scrappy organization, right?
Yeah.
That they were able to bring in as a result of that. And do you think that the next step is possible investigation? I mean, is she possibly under criminal investigation?
Yeah, there are already there are a couple investigations going on in California. I think what might save her is the fact that people are treading, and you can understand why they're treading lightly around this. This is sort of embarrassing for everybody.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think she could maybe fix this a little bit. You know, they could, you know, maybe look in terms of giving the money to some other people now. Again, a little humility, a little less blaming everybody else would go a long way.
All right. Dana Kennedy, thank you very much for coming in. Really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.